This will be our last session of the year, our last video. We're going to cover lessons 121, 122, 123, 124, and 125. Seems like a lot, but on these last lessons, they're only really throwing one concept in there. So we're actually doing less than what we would normally be doing. Lesson 121, you're simply writing equations. And what they're going to do is they are going to give you something that looks like this kind of a picture. You'll notice you basically have three lines, 1, 2, 3. And what you're going to do is you're going to write equations, three equations with stipulations, and that will satisfy graphing the equation. Basically, you're doing equation of line, 1, 2, and 3. These two are just straight lines, which are easy, and then you only have one sloped line, which is y equals mx plus b. And so what you're going to do is you're going to write those with stipulations. So you have y equals -1 and y equals 1. Okay? Y equals -1, that crosses the y-axis at -1. Y equals 1, that crosses the y-axis at 1. And now you got to put stipulations in there. You got to say as long as x is greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 1 on this one down here. Now make you see it's equal to because it's got a solid dot. Then on the bottom equation you have y equals 1 as long as x is greater than or equal to 3. And you can see that it's infinite, so there's no cap on it. Then the last one is a y equals mx plus b. So the equation is y equals x minus 2, and it's as long as, and the stipulation on that one you can see there in the middle, is as long as x is greater than or equal to 1 or x is less than or equal to 3. So that's all you're doing on 121 is you're writing equations there. It's cool, lesson 122 and 123 are graphing on a calculator. Now there's one small thing that you're doing on lesson 123, and that is you are describing on lesson 123, they're going to say something like this. You'll probably see it in your lesson on lesson 125. It says the following equations, and it's got A, B, C, and D. They are a circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola, and they want you to identify which is which and tell why. You read this little paragraph right here on lesson 673. It will describe why each one are what they are, which you guys have learned already during the year, and it's just making sure when you see the equation that you know what is what. So it's just simply describing what a circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola are. So that's all that lesson 122 and 123 are. Just graphing on your calculator. They're going to give you an equation, press graph, put it in the graphing thing, the y equals. 124 is finding coordinates. That's the one we're going to end with. Lesson 125, same thing, graphing on a calculator. So you can just look at that. It's a lot of graphing. So we're going to work it on that in class. Now, the last thing we're going to look at really is lesson 124. And what they're going to do on lesson 124 is they're going to give you a triangle. They're going to give you coordinates. And they're going to want you to find coordinates for things. They'll give you something like this. Now, what they're going to say in a word problem is what we have right here. They're going to say, find a coordinate that is 1/4 of the way. 1/4 of the way from this point and this point. And these are the last two formulas that you are going to put on your formula page. Once again, this comes from lesson 124. And it is x1, which this would be x1, this would be y1, this would be x2, this would be y2. It's going to be x1, which is 2, plus the distance, which is 1/4, times x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 2 again. This is going to end up being 4. 4 times the 4th is 1. So the first one that you're going to need is a 3. The answer to this one is a 3, so 3 is going to go here for our coordinate. Let's do our y. y1 is 4. The distance is 1/4. y2 is 6 minus y1 is 4. So that's 2 So for 4 plus 2 divided by 4 is 1/2, 4 1/2, or 8 9/2. So our coordinate would be 3, 9 halves. And that is going to be it for pre-calculus for the school year. And it has been a lot of fun teaching you guys.